Father of slain rapper Keenan, aka Forbes, has asked members of the public to refrain from making speculations and accusations. This is in light of rumors doing the rounds on social media that some of his friends could be involved in his murder. Forbes and Tibello Motwane were killed on Friday night in Durban. Linda Mnisi is outside the home in Bryanston now and joins us live. Linda, good morning to you. That particular warning also echoed by the Commissioner of the Police in KwaZulu-Natal, Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, whom I spoke to yesterday, saying that the trouble here is that with people making such speculations on social media, someone then is going to get hurt, which then means that they, as the police, will have to go back to whoever would have posted whatever it was that would have brought this person in harm's way. Do you, as of course you do your work monitoring social media, are you seeing that people are adhering to these calls to stop making accusations?
I think, Oli, from the weekend onwards, what we witnessed was, those accusations starting to die down. I think also particularly because yesterday the family coming out saying that those accusations need to stop and that, they are supporting, in full support of AKA's friends. In fact, they share the same pain and trauma, particularly those who were with him at the time of the shooting. Their home, which is right behind me, they say, is still open to them, and many of them are still very much welcome. So the family then saying that whatever is being said about the friends of the late Keenan Forbes is not taken seriously by the family, and ask that members of the public refrain from making those kinds of speculation. Of course, police saying that they're still investigating and looking at various parts, that include who could have communicated with him before and after the shooting, who could have come to the scene at the time after he was shot, looking at every possible piece of evidence that could possibly, lead them to AKA's killer. So the family really not saying much about what has happened. You would have seen that very, very short briefing yesterday from the family who came out with AKA's girlfriend, Nadia Nakai. They were obviously distraught. It was quite clear that they really were in deep pain, sobbing throughout the briefing, particularly if you look at AKA's mother, Lynn Forbes, as well as his girlfriend, Nadia Nakai. So that's the only statement that they were willing to release to members of the public. You'll remember, Oli, this is the same family who's had to travel to Durban to go and identify their son's body, who left here very much healthy and was in high spirits, but coming back on Monday in a body bag. So the family are still having to process that. In light of that, having to deal with police investigations and really making sure that, police find AKA's killer. So they've asked members of the public to allow the police to do their job.
Much of the focus and attention has been on AKA, and that's because of his celebrity status. But let's not forget that there is another life that was lost here at Tibello Motwane. The understanding is that there might be a memorial service for him held at Sacred Heart. Are you able to confirm that?
Indeed, Oli, those are details that were released, that his memorial service will be held later this week. But we've also had an opportunity to confirm funeral details, which will take place this weekend. The team that's responsible for communicating on that side of things said that it will not be a joint funeral with Keenan Forbes. It will not be a joint memorial service with Keenan Forbes, but they'll be having separate memorial services and separate funerals. The funeral is also taking place on the same weekend that AKA will be buried. It will also be in a private ceremony. So the family then saying that it wants to keep this one private. And the difference between the two, of course, is that the state has not declared a provincial funeral for him, despite having worked really closely with AKA in the arts industry. I mean, if you speak to the likes of musicians who were in the industry. They say that, in fact, he was quite instrumental in many parts of AKA's music. Amu yesterday, who you'll remember collaborated with AKA in one of his hit songs, Victory Lap, says how that remix collaboration came about was through Tibbs, who said AKA was a young person who wanted to collaborate with people that have come before him in the industry, and that's how he got connected to Keenan Forbes, and the respect that he showed people. So this is someone, Xoli, who was really deeply connected in the music industry, but also was quite well known and respected for his work. So the state, they're not declaring a provincial funeral as they've done with AKA, but even with AKA, it's not yet clear at this point which category of the provincial funeral will be held, come Saturday. All we know is that his memorial service will take place in Sandton on Saturday, and then the details around his funeral remain private, as it is, of course, a private ceremony.
Linda Mnisi, thank you very much for that update.